There are people who can look you straight in the eye and make you question something you were completely sure about just moments ago. Not by shouting, not by forcing, but by simply denying your reality with such calm confidence that your mind starts to hesitate. And the strangest part is, it doesn't happen all at once. It starts small, a conversation you clearly remember. They say it never happened. You pause. You're certain it did. But they don't even blink. They smile a little. Not aggressively, just enough to make you feel slightly off. Are you sure? They ask. And suddenly, a tiny crack forms in your certainty. Because now it's not just about the event anymore. It's about your memory, your perception, your judgment. And that's where the shift begins. You start replaying moments in your head. Not because you're confused, but because you're trying to defend your own mind. You think maybe you misunderstood. Maybe you exaggerated. Maybe it wasn't that serious. Pause here for a second, because this is where many people miss what is actually happening. This isn't normal disagreement. This is psychological erosion. There are people who don't need to win arguments. They win something deeper. They make you lose trust in yourself. And once that trust is gone, you become easier to shape. Let me tell you a simple scenario. Imagine someone constantly rewriting small moments. You say, "You were upset yesterday." They respond, "No, you're imagining things. I was perfectly fine." You remember the tension in their voice, but they sound so calm, so certain, that your memory starts to feel emotional instead of factual. And emotional memory is fragile. Over time, you stop saying things with confidence. You start prefacing everything with, "Maybe I'm wrong, but..." That's not just insecurity. That's conditioning. Pause again, and notice how subtle this is. Nothing dramatic has happened. No clear abuse, no obvious harm. Just repeated doubt placed inside your mind, until your inner voice becomes quieter than theirs. Psychologists often describe this pattern as reality distortion, but you don't experience it as a concept. You experience it as confusion, as second-guessing, as overthinking every conversation, as replaying arguments long after they're over. And the deeper effect is not that you stop trusting them. It's that you stop trusting yourself. You start asking other people to confirm your memories. You avoid confrontation because you feel uncertain even when you're right. You begin to rely on their version of events just to keep peace. And here's the painful twist. The more you adapt, the more stable they appear. Because now, you're the one who looks confused, and they look calm, reasonable, even mature. But what you don't see is that your clarity has been slowly replaced with hesitation. Let that sit for a moment, because this pattern is more common than most people realize. It can happen in relationships, in friendships, even in families, and it often hides behind words like, "You're too sensitive," or "That never happened," or "You always misinterpret things," until one day you realize something unsettling. You don't fully trust your own thoughts anymore without external validation. And that's the real damage. Not the argument, not the disagreement, but the quiet shift inside your mind where your reality starts feeling negotiable. So what do you do when you notice this? You don't need to fight. You don't need to prove everything. You start by holding on to your internal experience again, even if someone disagrees, even if they sound certain, even if they try to rewrite the moment, because your perception is not something that should need permission to exist. And here's the final realization. Healthy people might disagree with you, but they don't make you question whether your mind is broken for seeing what you saw. The moment a relationship consistently makes you doubt your own reality, you're not just dealing with misunderstanding anymore. You're dealing with influence over your sense of truth. And the most powerful thing you can do is quietly return to trusting your own mind again. If this video gave words to something you've lived through, you're not alone in it. Subscribe for more, and tell me in the comments, what's one thing you're starting to trust about yourself again?